Good morning, one and all. This is Ray from nextforextrade.com. Today is Thursday, the 26th of September 2019. So let's have a look at what's going on here. So firstly, of course, we've got a few positions that I'm in at the moment. Well, two currencies overall, which account to four positions in total, four trades, if you like, in total. So these are coming off nicely, so we'll come to those a bit later, but let's just firstly kick off by just having a cycle through the market, see what is happening today. And again, if you like what you're seeing here, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video as well. You can get notified as well, so you can get notified when these are going live, and you can ask questions and comment in real time, as I do these every weekday. So, all right, let's have a look at AUD CAD. So firstly, quick overview of the strategy. Firstly, it's a trend-based strategy, so looking for the price to be trending on the daily. First of all, this is my daily chart, so looking if it's a downtrend for lower lows and lower highs. Looking also for the price to be in an area of being overbought if it's in a downtrend. So I use my standard deviation for this to help with that, and it would need to be in the upper half of the standard deviation if it's overbought in a downtrend. And in the uptrend, it's the opposite. We're looking for higher highs and higher lows. Standard deviation would be going upwards, and we'd look for it to be in the oversold area, so the lower half of the standard deviation. And that's the kind of time that we'd be looking to enter on a trade. And with that being seen on the daily, what I then look for is the lower time frames to be agreeing with that. So we're looking for time frame correlation, so they need to be moving in a very similar direction to what they are on the daily. So the lower time frames I use are the 4 hourly, 1 hourly, 15 and 5, and I want these more or less to be moving in the same direction as that of the higher time frame. So with that out of the way, let's have a look at what the currencies are doing. So we've got AUD CAD at the moment, still very bearish, lower lows, lower highs. It's a bit late, in my opinion, to be entering positions on this, because we've seen that in previous days we did have this last lower high here. It's moved away from that significantly, so it's kind of an extension at the moment. It's coming into potential support here at these levels here, and really you don't want to sell into support, you want to sell off of resistance. So you can see as well, these are quite mature in the price action, the way it's progressed on the lower time frames as well. You can see these lower lows, lower highs. So yeah, you want to be selling off of resistance, so selling nearer the top here, waiting for the early signs on the lower time frames to show that the price has started to show some bearish move. That's the time to enter. So this is a bit late, so pass on that for today. So this is AUD CHF. This is a bit tricky at the moment. Overall, looking at the daily, maybe the higher time frames like the weekly, I'd be bearish on this move. This move now has got a bit of context. This retrace here, based on yesterday's candle, which would have found support off the resistance, the support of this standard deviation. So this could be looking to move higher, at least in the short term. But the problem with trying to go long on that at the moment is there's nothing in the lower time frames really that is saying that as of yet. These are all still very bearish, lower lows, lower highs. So I'd want to see if even contemplating going long on this, for these to start to roll over and start to show higher highs and higher lows. Given that it's Thursday today, that probably won't be till next week, so pass on that one as well. EURCAD bearish overall, I'd be thinking. Obviously this moves very similar to the AUD CHF that we were just looking at. And any pauses here, I'm just thinking before I explain it to you. So a lot of the times I am seeing these for the first time for the day, so it's just me seeing what opportunities there are before explaining them. So just going to see what that retrace is as well. So at the moment I'm just trying to build a story of how significant how to trade this viably, and seeing for what makes sense in the price action. So the moment, what I'm really looking at is to see how significant this previous lower high in this move is, to give weight to having a stop loss above this level. So there's kind of zonal area of previous support there, which helps. The reason I put this Fibonacci level in is to see if this was a significant retrace. It doesn't, I mean, it's okay. I mean, there's previous support here as well. I'm just trying to gather information, really. The lower time frames are showing some nice signs of bearishness as well. So 4 hourly, hourly, they're all quite bearish, but I'm still hesitant to consider shorting this for a few reasons. Firstly, that stop would be quite wide. Secondly, it could be a case of selling into this support here. So you can see these previous highs where the price has started to stall. You can see on these lower time frames it started to flatten out a lot as well. So going short now would be kind of risky, in the sense that you'd be selling into that support, and the price could very soon after selling it reverse and start to move higher. And also there is this to be wary of as well in the daily, the fact that this retrace has context here, where like in the AUD CHF we were talking about, it's found support off of that and then has the potential to move higher. So yeah, this isn't really stacking up for me at the moment. It's just a few too many warning signs to be short on this just yet. I'd want it to at least break that support, really, just to give a better price action. So I'm gonna pass on this one. AUD USD. Yeah, I'd be short on this, but I'd want to see a bit more value, to be honest, on the 4 hourly. So I'd want it to pull back to its upper edge of the standard deviation. So see a reversal candle off of that. The hourly is, yeah, so it would be, in the context of the hourly, it would be this upper edge here. On the 4 hourly, it's the same thing, this here. But again, I mean, yeah, even with that, it's a tricky one, because it would mean you'd have to have such a wide stop above these highs here, above this previous lower high in this price move here. We've seen the lower highs and lower lows. The most recent lower high is this one. So it would mean having a stop loss above these levels, and as I've probably mentioned in the previous videos, that's not so great, because it would put your profit target way beyond these previous lows, or not way beyond it, or about bang on it. And that just doesn't offer great value for money for me, because if this is what, 100, let's call it 100 odd pips, yeah, so put your take profit around here. I preferably like to have profit targets before these previous lows. We'll see that in the positions that I've got in at the moment. So taking money off before these previous lows, rather than the price having to break the previous low, the support of the previous low, to hit your take profit at a 1-to-1 reward to risk. That doesn't stack for me. So again, I would pass on that and look for better stuff. No, this price action is really choppy. See how sideways this is? There's no definable trend with higher highs and higher lows, so I'd pass on that as well. Yeah, this looks good. CADJPY. I would say this is an optimum time here. So this looks good. Lower lows, I'm already in position, so I'm not looking to open anything else additionally, especially because they're correlated as well. So I'll be basically increasing my risk if I were to try and trade this today. But if I wasn't in a position, this would be something I'd be looking at. Daily, got some nice lower lows, lower highs, and fits neatly within its standard deviation. It's up in the upper half of our standard deviation channel, which is good, giving signs that the price is likely overbought. So the reference point here is having a stop loss above this level, above this previous lower high on the daily. You can see as well that makes sense because this kind of zonal support here, this support here, this here, so having it above there clears that area of potential resistance. So it's a smart place to have the stop. So looking to lower time frames, we can see that it fits nicely within our standard deviation channel. We've had some reversal candles recently off of this, what we're deeming as a lower high, so it's finding some resistance there that also encountered previous support. Probably goes back, yeah, a bit zonal, but there's, you know, good reasons the price could find trouble moving much higher than that level. Same price action I've captured here in hourly. So this means taking a short position with a stop loss above the previous lower high here. It would mean so from where the price is now, it's about 90 pips or so, and that would take our 1-to-1 take profit to about here. Right, so on the daily, that's around here. Yeah, these are the last lows when I talk about stacking a trade, so that you're taking money off before the previous lower low in a downtrend. That's what I mean here. Here we're taking 1-to-1 reward to risk way before it has to encounter these lows. It's not having to move beyond that. You can viably take, you know, 2-to-1 out of this trade before it even approaches this previous low. So this trade stacks for me majorly. So yeah, easily 1% I'd be willing to risk on this. Potential to scale in as well, up to the full 3%. This would be my favorite trade today if I wasn't already in positions. So CADJPY looking tasty. So this is the CHFJPY, very similar story to what I just discussed on that previous pair as well. Very similar price action because they're very similar crosses. But I'm already in this, and I've already got a decent position when it was at a higher price, if you like, and I've scaled into this with a second position as well. So my total risk on this is 2%. What you can see is as well the take profits I've got on this, if you look at the daily, are before the previous lower low here. So this yeah, it stacks up quite nicely. Got 2% in this, and it's about, let's see, 200. It's maybe trying to find out what the actual take profit is. It's very arbitrary until the price starts to give me. So I've got these take profits levels in here, but I may move them depending on what the price action does. I'm trying to figure out what it's about. It's about 3.5%. So I'm risking 2% to about 3.5% reward. So yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. I'm happy with that so far. Just need it to keep pushing lower, and it could take a while to happen. It's not out of the woods yet. This this most recent move to the upside, I want it to break this support to at least give me a bit more confidence that this is going to continue to the downside, but it's going nicely so far. So yeah, we'll update you tomorrow on that one. What's next? So we've got the Euro AUD, bullish on this. Yeah, 4 hourly is looking nice. Hourly, all low time frames are looking very bullish. So yep, this is another one. I may have recommended this yesterday, but I would be willing to take a long position on this. I think the thing about this though is the swap. I think it's got a pretty hefty swap on it. Let's see what this is to be long. Whoa, yeah, the swap on this on my broker is very, very high. So it's 27, although it's in AUD, 27.6. Yeah, didn't realize that. So yeah, always pay attention to your swaps, especially this kind of price action. I would anticipate that to hit a take profit at 1-to-1 from here, it's probably going to take a little while to materialize, or just be prepared for that to be the case. And if you're having to pay out a massive swap on that, that is going to be a massive cost of business. Now on the intraday, that's not going to be, you know, if you're going for a shorter move, that might not be as big a concern, because your trade's probably going to be taken out with that within the day. So I'd be looking for a much shorter time frame on this, which in my opinion can be riskier, because you're not having a stop loss that makes sense on multiple time frames. So for me, overall, the best kind of stop loss for this would be this previous low here, but that having that wider stop means that it's probably going to take a lot longer to hit your take profit, in terms of, you know, it's a swing trade. It may take several days, but having it there is safer across the time frames, because it clears on the daily, it clears on the 4 hourly, it clears on the hourly, and so on. And it means if the price does start to move adversely on these lower time frames, it's still possible to maneuver the position so that you can protect the profit. So move down your take profit level to break even, for example. So there's more ways to manage the trade with a wider stop, if that makes sense. But the problem is, having such a wide stop means it's going to be in for several days, and if you're paying a massive swap on it, that could be several days. You know, you need to hold the position, and it's costing you. And you know, if you're going for a 1-to-1 reward to risk, then you know, that may negate the gains that you get. So on this one, it's not my typical approach to trading, but if you were looking for opportunity to trade this would be a better short-term trade for me, for not for me, but for someone who's interested in that type of trade. I would think maybe doing this based on the 4 hourly. So the structure of this would be stop loss below this low here. So there's two ways you can do it. You can go aggressively with a stop loss below this here, going from 1-to-1, which would roughly be before this previous high, which is good, because same logic here, when it approaches these highs here, it's a good chance it's going to find resistance as it moves into it. So if you've got a take profit that's beyond that level, you're saying the price has to break previous highs for you to make money. Whereas if you're taking money off before it encounters that resistance, then you've got a much more probable trade, because it doesn't have to break that for you to make money. It just needs to at least find resistance, and you've taken money off the table. So that would be one way that you could play this. The other, more conservative way, would be to take a stop loss below this level and then go for a 1-to-1 based on that. Now the price has to do a lot more. You need to be a lot more patient. It would mean that your take profit is probably it's around these levels up here. Let's say roughly there. Was it 220? Yeah, roughly here, which would still be okay. Now in this instance, it would need to break higher highs. What I sometimes do in projecting what profit targets are, I haven't really gone into much this in this video, but basically is use an fib extension. So in this instance, I'd be looking for it to be before this level here, the 23.6 level, which is a basic extension of this move most people are used to the retraces, so how the price pulls back to a certain level, but you can also use fib extensions to how far it could move beyond. I would prefer that the take profit would be before this level, but I mean, you've got momentum of the daily behind this, and it is before the 138.2, so yeah, that's viable as well. So yeah, just two suggestions here. Go for a more aggressive entry, stop loss below this level, take profit before this previous high, or slightly more conservative that will give you a bit more options, but may take a little longer to come to fruition, would be a stop loss below here and take profit around these levels. But yeah, just be cautious all over with the longs on this, because the carrying this from one day into the next is likely to be expensive. But yeah, just some trading ideas for you there. So this is the other trade that I'm in, that is going okay. This is EURCAD. It's a short on this one. I scaled into this earlier in the week as well. So this is the, again, what I look for in a trade is basically have a stop above a previous lower high, taking money off before the lowest low in a downtrend, this lower low here. So this is my profit target, and you can see this price action is maturing quite nicely. It's moving nicely with our standard deviation across the board. So even if this were to retrace here to these types of level, I'd still be okay with that to hold this, because at the moment probability is in my favor. It looks, you know, like it's maturing okay, so I'm just happy to hold on to this. I wouldn't be looking to enter this again if I hadn't been already in this, so this is a bit late in my opinion to open new positions on, but certainly holding, if you're in this, then holding out at least for these types of lows here would make sense. Yeah, so if you're looking to open a trade, just look back in the video for the other the other recommendations I've made today that are much better than that. This here, no, this is just, you'd be selling into support. Great downtrend movement here, but it's just too near to support here, and it needs to pull back to find some value. This price action here, EURGBP, no good to trade on the daily. This here, EURAUD, this is just a bit too late in terms of this move here. Nice and bearish, but yeah, stop needs to be above this level, and it will just push our take profit way beyond, or not way beyond, just too close to our to the lowest low here on a 1-to-1 raw to risk. Better stuff in the market, so pass. No, this price action is not good at all for me. It's very choppy, no discernible trend, so I'd pass on that. Here, no, this is too near support, needs to pull back, find value, so pass on that. This here, too choppy, no discernible trend, so I would pass on that. Need more information on this. Could be potentially long on this, but I need this day to close here and find support of our standard deviation to give more context to this uptrend here. So if that were to happen, if this were to close today and give a kind of reversal candle here, and our lower time frames were to start to roll over and start to show higher highs and higher lows, then potentially, yeah, it could be long on this with stops below that level. But really, yeah, we need the day to close first of all before considering that. So that's potentially something for tomorrow, Friday, or into next week. So need to wait and see on that. So no, I wouldn't. Why ECA trade out of this? Because I mean, yeah, there's parts of it are tradable, but as you'll see from earlier in the video, there's better stuff out there. So I wouldn't be thinking to trade that GBP CHF. And when you found a better setup, really, it's just discount anything that follows. Why would you want to waste you know, divide your attention to something that is potentially correlated or you know, negatively correlated, so they move in same or opposite directions. You know, you're just increasing your risk by just trying to take more trades. Just look for the best one, and I've already gone over some better ones today. So this one, no, this one, GBP USD, bearish overall. Hourly started to roll over. 4 hourly, I would like to see better signs of bearishness though. Yeah, this is still potentially a problem. The way it's found support here, it started to break through its standard deviation here and looks like it could find resistance off of it, but I'd want to see better signs of bearishness before considering this to the short side. But yeah, pass on that for today. No, don't like the way that, I mean, this is bearish overall, but this is just too near support. You don't want to sell into that. It needs to find value by pulling back. Just have a closer look at this. No. No, gonna pass on that one as well. Better stuff out there. Okay. NZD USD. No, too near support. Needs to pull back. Yeah, there's quite a few examples here of where you'd be selling into support. So you want to sell off of resistance if you're looking to short. If you're going long, you want to buy off of support, not sell into sorry, not buy into resistance. No, this is too choppy. So sideways is what I mean when I say choppy. I mean, the lower time frames on this are looking better in terms of bearishness, 4 hourly, hourly, but this is still on a daily. Although we've got this nice bearish movement here with the, you know, arguably lower highs and lower lows, it's this move here that has a little bit too much context at the moment. So this retrace here still fits nicely or neatly within the standard deviation to the upside. Really want to see it break those previous these lows here and move down before considering shorting this. So I pass on that. USDJPY. I mean, I'm bearish overall. Definitely some nice signs of bearishness on these lower time frames. Always interacting with our standard deviation. The upper edge, lower highs as well in terms of the downtrend. Looks like this resistance is pretty strong as well. I mean, it's zonal, previous support areas. It goes back. You can see here, here, here. So there's good reason to have, you know, stops. I mean, higher than that. I'd be looking for it to be above this high here, which is a lower high on the daily. Yeah, it stacks okay. My main concern is this retrace here, which on the daily still fits neatly, a little too neatly within there. But there's better context to be short on this than any other ones with similar crosses. There's also here, this retrace has some meaning as well on the daily. Or I always look for fibs to have interaction with the price rather than just use them in isolation. So it's more of a confirming thing. So it has had a 50% retrace that has interacted pretty much bang on that level. So that's just something, you know, to be aware of, not necessarily take it as gospel, but it's something to be aware of, that this seems to be quite a significant level in that there's previous support, there's previous resistance. It's also interacted with an upper edge of a standard deviation, and it's also interacted with a Fibonacci retrace as well, bang on 50%. So yeah, I would see potential to short this. The less aggressive trade is a stop above here, and it stacks as well because 1-to-1 reward to risk, it's about 85 pips. would be, it would be around about these lows here, and the profit potential in this would be these lows down here. So that's 3, maybe 4 to 1 potential as well. So for me, even though there's the risk of this here creating support and potentially still moving higher, those confirming factors kind of mitigate that slightly for me. So I'd be happy at least to put a 1% into this, 1% risk, given the potential upside on this. And certainly if it were to break definitively past those, past out of this kind of support that we're seeing to the upside, then scale into it. So although the stars aren't perfectly aligned, there's enough there to really, consider risking, an amount to short this. So USDJPY is looking good to short for me at the moment as well. So yeah, that's another trade for today. And that's it. Bitcoin as well. I'll go over that. Let's just see if there's any questions. No, not today. Okay, so yeah, be back again tomorrow. Again, like the video, leave some comments if you have any questions about what I've said, and I will see you tomorrow for Friday session. So see you then. Take care. Bye.